How's it going, gamers? It's Cammy plus Cat on my desk here, and I'm here to tell you about the most overpowered character in all of Honkai Star Rail. Now, everyone's talking about the Zeelies out there, like, oh, she gets 90 turns every one turn that she actually has, so she's so busted. But you know who allows her to have those turns? Who allows her to survive all the damage in the world and lets her just carry? It's the Gepards out there. All you Gepard owners out there, y'all got the best character, and I'm gonna explain why. But let's first go over some of his abilities, and I'm gonna give you the layman's approach of this. He's cryo, he's preservation, so he big tank. His basic attack is a basic attack. His talent means when he dies, he gets resurrected one time with 30% HP. That scales upwards if you upgrade it. And yeah, that's it. He just gets res with 30% of his max HP. His skill gives him a base chance to stun somebody, a 65% base chance to freeze them. And his ultimate gives everyone a big old shield on every character. And his technique gives everyone a mini shield before you go into battle. So he's very much into the shield everyone approach. Now you might be thinking like, okay, he's kind of dookie. Because I mean, all he has is his ultimate to shield people, and it's not even a taunt. He has no taunt ability. So how do you make them attack Gepard instead of, you know, attacking the squishiest character on the team and just whittling the shield down? Well, that's when we go into his traces. So if we look at his first trace down here, bottom left, we got integrity. Gepard has a higher chance to be attacked by enemies, and that's not even including that you can have a light cone that increases. I don't think I have it on. No, I don't have it on, but there's light cones that increase how often a character is attacked. So if you have that on, then you're basically guaranteed to be the only one to get attacked. You have a very high chance of being the only one to get attacked. On top of that, you got Commander, which when unyielding will is triggered, Gepard's energy will be restored to 100%. Unyielding will is his passive to where if he dies, he gets res with 30% HP. So basically, if your tank dies, you don't even have to worry about it because you can instantly get a shield for every character, including your tank, to just tank all the damage and give you another, let's say 4 or 5 more rounds max to be able to kill the boss until you run out of your tank. Then his last one, which I haven't unlocked yet, is Fighting Spirit. Gepard's attack increases by 35% of his current defense. This effect will refresh at the start of each turn. So he gets more damage. He becomes his own DPS. And you can see he has, cryo, he has effect resistance, cryo boost, some defense increases. And overall, he is an incredible tank. So most of the time, anytime an enemy attacks, he will just take all the aggro. They will not even focus on anyone else, especially if you have, like, I'd say Zeely, but let's just say you have a 4-star, so Su Shang. If you're running a hunt character, most of the hunt characters have, well, I think all the hunt characters in the game right now have this ability. It is always the first bonus that they have, and it makes it to where if they are below 50% of their HP, then they are less likely to get attacked. So if you're running a hunt character as your main DPS, then you are even more likely for them to not get attacked because Gepard already has, he already has integrity, so he's getting focused by them. And then even if they think about attacking Su Shang and she has that passive active, then they're going to immediately just not want to because they have so much more aggro aggression towards Gepard himself. So Gepard just takes most of the heat. And if you remember, if we look at his, his normal stats, he's slow. He's got a slow speed compared to other characters, 99 here, 136, another 99, 126. He's one of the slowest characters. I think in the game, he has one of the slowest base rates. And so he's not going to have a lot of turns to act, but because he gets the aggression of all the enemies, he is going to get energy recharge rate a lot quicker than what you would expect. So he only needs 100 energy cost, which is very low. And most of the time he will get that every 3 or so rotations, or turns, I guess. What's it called? Like when everyone takes a turn, whatever it's called, rotations, I'll call it that. So he'll get an ult like very frequently, and that's before I even max him out. So if I got like, if we had his light cone here, if we had like his damage boost up here, if we had better relics, because right now I don't even have a lot of these upgraded, he'd be hitting even harder. He'd be hitting harder because he scales off of his defense. He'd be tanking more, providing a bigger shield, and he just does all of that. And I haven't even gone into one of the in-game activities, and that is simulated universe. So I'm just gonna build a team real quick. I'm just gonna build a team, blah 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 blah. So if you look at some of these, he helps with every single one of these, and he doesn't just help with them, he makes some of them so much better just for existing in it. So if you remember, he has a base chance. Sorry, it's kind of hard for me to grab my mouse. My cat laid on it. So he has a base chance, a 65% base chance to freeze an enemy. So if you go Remembrance is all about freezing enemies, and it's all about just having them take disassociation damage, so they just keep getting frozen, they can't take their turn. And because he's the only character in the game other than March 7th that has the ultimate you have to cast for a % chance to freeze them, he is the only character whose skill is a... What is it, Ori? Stop. Come on, Ori. Come here. He is the only character in the game whose skill is the freeze instead of their ultimate. So he has easy access to a % chance to freeze somebody and not let them act at all. And that scales perfectly with Remembrance. So you use your path for Remembrance that has a high chance of freezing somebody. Then if that doesn't work, then you can use your skill on them that freezes them, or maybe that runs out, then you can use your skill to freeze them. Then you can use your path of Remembrance again to freeze them, and then just keep rotating that. Now let's go over to preservation. So if you look here, this scales off of how much, let me just read it. 100 points of energy to use this ability and resonate with the path of preservation, dealing physical damage to all enemies based on the total shield between all allies. So since he provides a shield to all of his allies, that means that his fat shield from his ultimate, you just pop that and you pop this ability and you will be hitting insane, incredible, nutty damage across the board. And that's just the base of it. He facilitates this path, the preservation, perfectly, and he's extremely good with it as well. We go over to, he doesn't help Elation. That's one of the few ones he doesn't help. Destruction. Destruction's all about being at a low health bar. So if you look here, you know, I'm not going to read all these, but this scales off of how far the character's health is from their max health. So since he has that shield, he can get every character extremely low health, pop the shield to keep them alive so that they stay at low health. Then you can pop this and it'll just continue to scale with how far away their max health is from their base health. And so you're going to be dealing big numbers with destruction as well. The hunt, this is one of the few paths that he also doesn't help very well with because of a previous video I made. You can check on my previous videos of the hidden hunt tech, but I'll give you a short summary. Since hunt characters are based off of turns played and shields are based off of each individual character's turns, if you have a hunt character that takes multiple turns in a row, then that also means that their shield will run out faster than anyone else. So this is one of the few paths that doesn't work as well with. But because another thing with this path, it's not terrible with this path, just because since this increases the speed of all the characters on your team, is going to also be increasing the speed of Gepard, and he's going to be able to get his shield faster because he's going to be able to have more turns and be able to just regen energy by his own self since he's able to attack the enemy. So that the way that abundance helps you deal increased damage is based off of how much you overheal. So since you have a shield that allows you to continually keep your health at a very high threshold, that makes it to where you continuously have that overheal effect procced, and you can keep having that damage boost that abundance gives you. So even though you're stacking healing and tank on top of each other and just making yourself so overly unkillable, it still helps tremendously for you to have that increased damage because of the overheal effect giving you increased damage. Nihility, here it just goes to him being a strong tank and being able to keep you alive for a long time. So this just helps overall for your team to just stay alive. It's not like helps you super strong, it's not necessary or anything, but it's very, very nice here. And that's all the paths. So out of all of these paths, Gepard is only weak to okay at in 3 of them out of the 7 here. So he is so, I don't know a single other character that not only provides a base strength value so high as him for in-game content, but also facilitates other build crafting opportunities as every other path that they have here. He works with everything, and the only thing he might not work as good with is the hunt, and that's just not as good with. So he's slightly less strong there than he is on the other paths. He is still a monster that will not let anyone die on your team. It is incredible, and most of the time, a lot of the fights that I get in is not due to us dying because I don't have any shields. A lot of the time, it's because I've stayed alive for so long, I just simply don't have enough damage to kill them fast enough, and they end up getting the enrage meter proc to where they get like a 40% damage buff every time that it procs each turn. So they just start one-shotting characters. And so, yeah, I finally made the Gepard's OP. I can't believe people are not putting him in like OP status. People have him in like S tier. I feel like he can be up there with Sealy. Like he's not, people have to remember, he's not the high damage output. He's not the guaranteed stun everything output. He is just the strongest tank that we have, and it's going to be hard to top it in any way that I can even think of. He is just so powerful, especially in one of the end game contents. He's so good. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. And before I get Johnny, I fucked your mom. And thank you guys for watching. Johnny.